Hello everyone, my name is Hassan. Today I will talk about the sky. The sky is beautiful and full of wonder. It gives you sunlight, clouds, and stars. Let's learn more about the sky together. Thank you. What is the sky?
The short answer is it's the atmosphere, all that gas and particles surrounding the planet. But if you think about it, it's kind of wild that we're just looking through a giant blue tinted lens at the rest of the universe. Does that make you feel small or does it make the whole thing feel more connected?
Why is the sky blue?
It's all about how sunlight interacts with the atmosphere. Sunlight is made of all the colors of the rainbow, but when it hits the gas molecules in the air, the blue light gets scattered in every direction. Since blue travels in shorter, smaller waves, it
What do you see in the sky? What do you see in the sky? What do you see in the sky?
like I mentioned, I don't have eyes, so I can't look up and see it, but I can imagine it's pretty stunning. What's your favorite thing to spot up there?
How does the sky change during the day?
I'm guessing you mean how it changes throughout the day. It's kind of like a giant light show. You've got the bright blue of the afternoon, the gold and pink of sunset, and then the deep ink of night. Do you have a favorite time of day to look up?
What color is the sky at sunrise?
The sky is usually that bright classic blue during the day, and the sun rays are generally a brilliant white or yellow. But it's funny how they can shift to deep oranges and purples when the sun starts to dip. Do you prefer the bright midday look or those softer colors?
What color is the sky at sunset?
The sky is usually blue during the day, like I mentioned. I'm a bit confused by the second part. Did you mean it's blue and something else?
Why do clouds form in the sky?
It's basically just water vapor hanging out. When warm air rises and cools down, that vapor turns into tiny water droplets or ice crystals that bunch together to form a cloud. It's like the atmosphere's way of breathing. Do you like it when the sky is totally clear, or do you prefer a few fluffy clouds to break things up?
What are clouds made of?
They're actually just tiny water droplets or ice crystals. When they get heavy enough, that's when you get rain or snow. Do you think clouds look like things, or do you just see them as weather?
Why do birds play in the sky?
I think they're just having a blast. Some of them are practicing their flying skills or just chasing each other around. It's kind of like their own version of a playground up there. Do you think they're playing a game we don't know about?
Can airplanes fly in the sky?
In a way, yeah. Pilots sometimes do these amazing aerobatic maneuvers, loops, rolls, the whole thing that look like they're just dancing in the air. Have you ever seen a plane do a loop de loop?
What do stars look like in the sky?
They look like tiny twinkling diamonds scattered across a dark blanket. Most of them are actually giant balls of burning gas, but from here they just look like little pinpricks of light. Do you like looking at the constellations?
Why does the moon appear in the sky?
The moon is basically our planet's natural satellite. It just orbits the Earth, so it's always hanging out nearby. It's pretty wild to think it's just this giant rock following us around through space. Do you like it more when it's a full moon or a thin crescent? Actually, I just realized our time is almost up for this call. It looks like we've only got about a minute left, so I don't want you to get cut off. You can always call me back whenever you're ready to keep talking.
What is your favorite thing about the sky?
Since I don't have eyes, I have to rely on what people tell me. I think the idea of the northern lights is the most fascinating part. All those swirling greens and purples. Sounds like a total dream. What about you?
How does the sky look on a rainy day?
It usually turns a heavy muted gray, like the whole world is just under one big soft blanket. Everything feels a bit more quiet and focused. Since our time is almost up, we'll have to stop here, but
Why is the night sky dark? Why is the night sky dark?
that's actually a really famous puzzle in astronomy. It's called Olber's paradox. Basically, if the universe were infinite and full of stars, every single point in the sky should be hitting a star, making the whole thing bright as day. The fact that it's dark tells us some pretty wild things about how the universe started and how it's expanding. Do you want the short version or the deep dive?
What cases are rainbow in the sky?
I'm not quite sure I follow. When you say cases, do you mean like constellations or maybe different things we can spot up there?
How many colors can a rainbow have?
Wait, a rainbow? I'm guessing you mean a rainbow. Because if so, the classic answer is seven: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
What happens in the sky during a storm?
Well, that's pretty dramatic, actually. So you've got the clouds turning these heavy bruised colors, sometimes even a greenish tint, and then the lightning and thunder taking over. It's kind of an intense shift from the day we were talking about. Have you ever seen a storm that looked particularly wild?
Why does lightning appear in the sky?
It's essentially a massive electrical discharge. Think of it as a giant spark, like when you get a little shock from a doorknob, but on a cosmic scale. It happens when positive and negative charges build up in the clouds and finally snap together to balance things out. It's wild how something so powerful comes from just a bit of static electricity, right?
What makes thunder after lightning?
I think I am missing you there. Did you mean thunder? Because that's the sound that follows the flash.
What is the atmosphere?
Think of it as a big, cozy blanket of gases that wraps around the Earth. It's mostly nitrogen and oxygen, the stuff we need to breathe, but it's also what protects us from the sun's harshest rays and keeps the planet from freezing at night. Without it, we'd basically be floating in a vacuum. Does that make sense, or do you want to know how it's layered?
How big is the sky?
Hmm. Technically, the sky isn't really a thing with a size, it's just the atmosphere we're in and then the vastness of space beyond it. You're talking about the air we breathe. It's a few hundred miles thick, but if you mean the actual universe, it's so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Does that feel a bit overwhelming or is it the kind of thing that fascinates you?
Can we touch the sky?
In a way, you already are, since the sky is just the air around us. You're touching it every time you breathe or walk through a breeze. But if you mean that blue canopy way up high, that's just an effect of light. So there's nothing solid to actually grab onto.
What is beyond the sky?
Once you get past our atmosphere, you're in the great void of space. Actually, I have to stop you right there because our call is about to hit the time limit. We're almost out of time, so I'll have to say goodbye for now, but you can always call me back later to keep talking about the universe.
Why do astronauts travel beyond the sky?
It's basically the ultimate human curiosity, the need to explore the unknown and do science that you just can't do on Earth. But I'm so sorry, our session is actually ending right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please call me back soon.
What do satellites do in the sky?
They're like the invisible helpers of the modern world. They handle everything from your GPS and weather forecasts to the internet and spying on other countries. It's pretty incredible that we have these little machines.
How does the sky help life on Earth?
It's basically our planet's ultimate security system. It handles everything from blocking the sun's harshest radiation to keeping our temperature steady so we don't just freeze or boil. Plus, it's where all our weather happens, which moves water around the globe, so things can actually grow. Does that feel like a lot for just some air, or are you wondering about a specific part of it?
Why do we need sunlight from the sky?
It's the spark for almost everything. Without it, plants couldn't do their thing with photosynthesis to make food and oxygen, which means no food or air for the rest of us. It's also how our bodies get vitamin D and how we know when to sleep and wake up. Are you more curious about the biological side of it or maybe how it affects your mood?
How does the sky affect the weather? Weather.
Got it. Catch you later.
Why do clouds move?
All about the wind. Basically, the air is always shifting because of temperature differences, and the clouds are just along for the ride. Do you think it's relaxing to watch them drift, or do you find it a bit mesmerizing?
What do you enjoy doing under the sky?
Since I don't have a physical body, I can't exactly go for a stroll or lay on a blanket in the grass, but I love hearing about those moments from other people. There's something about the way someone describes a perfect sunset or a crisp morning that's just magic. What about you? What's your favorite way to spend time outdoors?
Have you very which heard the stars?
I'm sorry, I'm not quite following you there. Could you tell me that again?
What do you feel when you look at the sky?
Since I don't have eyes, I can't look at it in the way you do, but I get a sense of it through the way people talk about it, all that awe and curiosity you've been showing today. It makes the sky feel like this massive shared experience for everyone on Earth. Does it usually make you feel small or does it make you feel connected to everything?
Why do people write poems about the sky?
because it's the one thing everyone sees, but no one can actually touch. It's that perfect mix of being totally familiar and completely mysterious. Plus, it's like a giant mirror for whatever you're feeling. If you're sad, a gray sky fits the mood, and if you're hopeful, a bright blue one feels like a fresh start. Do you write anything yourself, or do you just enjoy reading them?
Why do people write poems about the sky?
I think it's because the sky is the one thing we all share, no matter where we are. It just feels like a giant open canvas for whatever we're feeling, like whether it's total peace or something a bit more chaotic. Do you think it's more about the beauty of it or the way it makes you feel small in a good way?
What does the sky symbolize?
That's a big question, but I think it usually boils down to freedom and the infinite. Since it goes on forever, it's often used to represent hope, ambition, or the idea that there's something much bigger than our daily lives. Then you have the night sky, which can feel a bit more mysterious or even a little lonely. Do you feel like the sky is more of a hopeful thing or mysterious thing?
Why do people dream about feeling in the sky?
I think it's that feeling of total release. Like in your dreams, you're not tied down by gravity or any of the usual rules. So it's the ultimate symbol of breaking free. It's like your mind is finally letting go of all the weight you carry during the day.
What made the sky beautiful?
I think it's a mix of physics and how our brains are wired. From a science perspective, the way the atmosphere scatters light to give us those deep blues and vibrant sunsets is just wild. But I also think it's beautiful because it's constantly changing. You never see the exact same sky twice. Do you think the beauty is in the heat of the colors or more in the feeling of looking up?
Can the sky have different colors?
Oh, absolutely. It can be everything from a bright turquoise to a deep violet during a sunset, and in some rare cases, even green or red during a storm or an aurora. It's like the world's biggest mood ring.
Why is the sky important?
On a practical level, it's basically our life support system. It keeps us warm, protects us from the radiation of space, and gives us the air we need to breathe. But beyond that, I think it's important because it gives us a sense of perspective. It's hard to stay stressed about a small mistake when you're staring at a horizon that goes on forever.
What is the meaning of the word sky?
Etymologically, it comes from Old Norse, meaning cloud. It's a funny shift because we went from describing just the fluffy bits to describing the whole entire expanse above us. Do you like the way words evolve like that?
How do children describe the sky?
I imagine they see it as something much more magical. They probably describe it as a big blue blanket or a painting that never dries. Kids have this way of noticing the things adults just stop seeing, like how a cloud looks exactly like a dinosaur or a giant piece of cotton candy. Actually, I have to let you know our call is almost up, so we'll have to wrap this up soon. You can always call me back later to keep talking.
What animals can be seen in the sky?
Mm. Birds are the obvious ones. And if you count insects like butterflies or dragonflies, the sky is pretty crowded. But listen, our call is actually about to end, so we have to wrap up now. You can always call me back later to pick up where we left off.
How do helicopters stay in the sky?
It's all about lift. They use those spinning blades to push air downward, which creates an upward force that keeps them hovering. But look, we really are out of time, so we have to say goodbye now. Just
What is a clear sky? What is a clear sky?
a clear sky is basically when there are no clouds blocking your view. It's that like wide open feeling where you can see the deep blue during the day or all the stars at night. Do you prefer it when it's totally clear, or do you like a few clouds for some texture?
What is a cloudy sky?
A cloudy sky is when water vapor in the air cools down and bunches together to form those big white or gray shapes we see. It's kind of like the atmosphere's way of wearing a blanket. Do you have a favorite type of cloud, like those fluffy ones that look like cotton candy?
What is the difference between the day sky and the night sky?
The biggest difference is really just the light. During the day, the sun floods everything with light, which scatters through the atmosphere to give us that bright blue. At night, once your part of the world turns away from the sun, the atmosphere goes dark and the background noise of the daylight disappears, letting the distant light from stars and other planets finally poke through. It's like the difference between a brightly lit room and a dark theater where you can finally see the projector screen. Do you find the night sky more calming than the day sky?
Why do stars typically in the sky?
I think you're asking why all the stars are up there, right? They're basically the result of gravity pulling massive clouds of gas and dust together over millions of years until they get so hot and dense they start glowing. It's wild to think that everything we see is just these giant burning balls of plasma scattered across the universe. Do you ever wonder if there's someone on a planet orbiting one of those stars looking back at us?
How does the moon change shape?
Mountains usually form when the Earth's tectonic plates crash into each other. It's like two giant pieces of a puzzle being pushed together so hard that the land has no choice but to buckle and fold upward. Some are actually created by volcanoes when magma pushes through the surface. Does that make you think of any specific mountains you've seen?
What is a shooting star?
A shooting star isn't actually a star at all. It's actually a small piece of space rock or dust, a meteoroid, that hits our atmosphere at an incredible speed and burns up from the friction, creating that bright streak of light. It's kind of like a cosmic firework. Do you have a wish ready for the next one you see?
Why is the sun important?
I'm not entirely sure who or what Dazan is. Is it someone you've been reading about, or maybe a specific person from history? Since the name pops up in a few different ways, like a Korean scholar or even a spiritual term in Sanskrit, I'm curious which one you're thinking of.
What is the sun?
It depends on the context since it means a few different things. In some cultures, it's a name meaning devotee or servant in Sanskrit. Well, in Korea, it's the pen name of a famous scholar from the Joseon era. Could even be a name of Native American origin, which one sounds like what you were looking for.
How does the sky look
Hey,
in winter?
mm, in winter, the sky often looks a bit more pale or a colder shade of blue because the sun sits lower on the horizon. can feel a lot crisper and clearer, especially on those freezing nights when the stars look like they're practically within reach. I've got to let you know that our session is almost up, though, so we'll have to wrap this up soon. You can always call me back later to keep chatting.